completely different form of the ancient Indian civilization if we compare it from the post-Mauryan or the Mauryan and the Gupta periods. It would be completely different with respect to the literature, religion and society. Okay, so just imagine yourself that you are moving towards a new society, new kind of society which we saw in the northern India. Okay, so here, what is the Sangam age? Now, what does the word Sangam means? Okay, so if you imagine what is the meaning of Sangam, what is the Sangam? Sangam means the confluence. Okay, Sangam means the confluence of more than one or two entities. Okay, so this was the confluence of three entities: Chora, Chela, and Pandya. Okay, let me explain you with the diagram itself now. Let's suppose this is South Peninsular India. Okay, so here it was Kerala, here it is presently, here it is Kerala, and here it is Tamil Nadu, right? Now, this area, okay, this area was covered by Cheras as discussed in the last lecture. Okay, this area was covered by Cholas. Okay, and the southern part of Tamil Nadu and some part of Kerala was covered by Pandyas. Right now, these were the major three powers in South Peninsular region. Okay, now here all these three used to assemble at a single place. Okay, these were known as the assemblies. In today's word, it is known as assembly. Okay, so they used to assemble at a single place. They used to discuss about many of their experiences in their local area. They used to also share their knowledges, their system, their rituals, their cultures in these assemblies. So whenever you go through the historical text, you would be getting three major assemblies of the Sangam period. Okay, so we'll discuss about all those assemblies one by one, but you just need to know that all these three major powers used to discuss all their debates, and all the discussions used to happen in the Sangam assemblies. Sangam means, what is Sangam? It is confluence, coming together. Okay, so if, for example, if you take a consideration of a river, okay, for example, Ganga meeting Yamuna or Yamuna meeting Ganga, what it is? It is Sangam, right? So in the similar way, this was the Sangam of the assemblies of different regions or the different kingdoms of that particular region. Okay, and that is why this is called as a Sangam. So what happened during this assemblies? People used to gather, kings, different kings from the different courts used to gather. They used to discuss, they used to share their experiences, and here many of the poets used to write down all the literature, all the stories of these assemblies. Okay, and that is why we come to know about the Sangam period. Fine. So the Sangam period mainly focuses upon the literary sources. Now, whatever literary sources we get during this period, okay, tells everything about the polity, administration. Okay, so here, with the help of this literature, we are going to study the different aspects of the Sangam period. Okay, so first we would be studying about how was the polity during that time. Secondly, we would be discussing about the culture. We would be discussing about the economy during that period, and after that we would be also discussing about the religion that used to be followed during that period. So the religious aspects would be completely different with respect to the Sangam age if we compare it with the religious aspects of the Mauryan period and the Gupta period. Now in Mauryan and Gupta period, we saw the Varna system, right? Brahmin, Kshatriya, Shudra, Vaishya. Okay, so here in this time frame or in during this age, the religious system would be completely different. Okay, so let us see what is the difference. Now what is the Sangam age? It is a confluence and it is a period spanning from 3rd century BC to 3rd century AD in South India, and this civilization took place mainly in between the Doab region. Okay, so this Doab region was, what is Doab region? What is Doab region? Doab is a region which is in between two rivers. For example, this is a northern river running and this is southern river. So a region between this two rivers is known as the Doab region. Okay, so the Sangam age was a Doab was followed in the Doab region, especially with respect to Krishna river and the Tungabhadra rivers. Okay, now, this period was named after the Sangam assemblies, right? Means the confluence of different kind of assembly, different kind of regions within that period. Okay, so that is why it is called as the Sangam age. Okay, now when we discuss about the Sangam age, first we need to know what are the sources. Now, as I have told you initially also, that the Sangam age was the age where we need to know the contemporary events. Okay, now we have seen that the Sangam age was the age contemporary of Mauryan period. Okay, so here, but obvious, we would be having the Ashokan inscription, which would be telling us the story of the contemporary events of the Sangam period. Okay, so here the first major source is the Ashokan inscription, which talks about the Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas, rulers of the South Mauryan Empire. Now, if you imagine the map which we had discussed the last time, okay, so if you remember any of the location in the peninsular region where we used to discuss about the Ashokan edicts, Ashokan minor and major edicts, minor and major edicts, right? So these edicts were at the confluence of the Godavari and Krishna river. Okay, so here this edict tells us many things about the Chola, Chera, and Pandyas. Okay, so you have got the geographical location of the Ashokan edicts also. You have known about the location of Chora, Chela, and Pandya also. So that is why you will see that the Ashokan inscription would be majorly talking about the southern powers which were contemporary of the Ashoka period. So yes, you can say the Sangam age was the contemporary of the Mauryan period also. Okay, first point to be noted. Second, the Greek authors like Megasthenes, Strabo, Pliny, and the Ptolemy would be also talking about the Sangam age. Now they would be talking about the trade relations. They would be talking about the revenue system which was present during the Sangam age. Of course, they would be also talking about the society, but majorly they would be talking about the trade relations. Why? Because in the first go only, I told you that the Sangam period had the relations with the Roman empires, right? Now, this Romans were the Western powers, right? At least western to the Indian subcontinent, right? So that is why Megasthenes, Strabo, Pliny, and Ptolemy would be majorly talking about these relations of the southern peninsular India. Okay, so here we would be seeing that this Indo-Greek people were the major source of the trade relations of South Peninsular region towards the Western Asia. Okay, after that, Hathigumpha inscription. Now, where is Hathigumpha inscription? Hathigumpha inscription is in Odisha region. Okay, so here, if you remember what we discussed about the King Kharavela. Okay, so in Kalinga region, in independent Kalinga region, we had King Kharavela. In fact, on the name of the King Kharavela, who introduced the rock cut architecture, cave architecture. Okay, we call it as a Kharavela architecture. Okay, so this Kharavela inscription has also the evidences of Chora, Chela, Pandya, with respect to the Sangam period, with respect to the Sangam assemblies during that time. Okay, so what does the Hathigumpha inscription or the Kharavela inscription tells us about? It tells us about the Tamil literature. It tells us about Tamil literature and assemblies. It tells us about Tamil literatures and the Tamil assemblies. There were some of the Tamil assemblies that were being held, major Tamil assemblies, especially which were held in Madurai region. Now, the Madurai was a capital city. Okay, now we'll be discussing each and everything with respect to the mapping. So, this is the image of a Hathigumpha